I don't hear.
Power on.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
When it comes to one-year-old Mariah Cartavius, you are not.
Space, the final frontier. It's 5 years.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Happy Monday, July 9th, 2018. You are listening to Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com. We have got a full house in the studio today. We have special guests joining us today, J-Dog Brooks, coming in from Platinum Pro Wrestling. Everybody, say hello to the cameras. We've got cameras.
We've got cameras.
Wait, all right.
Yeah, turn them on.
Yeah.
He's here. He's waving.
Okay, hold on. Let's go to that camera. Now you guys wave. Sorry. That was the delay. Blame that on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am serious. So again, it is Monday, July 19th.
Did we wave too?
It's only
I
the
did.
night.
I got you guys. You guys were the first ones waving.
We didn't wave
Chris.
Yeah, we waved. We waved.
They didn't get the wave.
Well, I waved.
Go ahead, wave. Give the wave. I wish we all have.
Siobhan was texting during the break.
I don't have that many.
She's fubbing.
Yeah.
There's always one at the stadium.
That's me.
Are you serious?
Yes, she is.
It is. So we're in the studio today. We've got a great show lined up here. Like I said,
Wow.
Wow.
Who was that?
That
Mute,
might have been me.
No idea.
mute our computers
That
and
might have been
our.
me.
I'm on mute.
My phone's on
Usually
silent.
it's me.
I'm not used to
Yep.
having my,
Yep.
fiddling.
All right. Keep
You're
talking,
fiddling?
Joy.
I will.
No,
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
again,
see
it's
you.
Monday. We've got an action-packed show today. We've got J-Dog Brooks again here from Platinum Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
So,
Woo! Should we? Does you want a round of applause? Do we have a round of applause button? No, wrong one.
Aren't you a heel?
And
oops, I am a heel. So.
he
Yeah,
is.
you're a bad
You know
guy.
what?
We're
He
used to
is.
that.
He is a heel. Okay, so that was the right one. Chris, you're doing great there. So we've got Chris producing today.
Chris who? Chris who?
What?
Chris Metal. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody.
It's the metal man.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Oh, well, hold on a second, everybody. I
There,
can't
go
do
ahead.
that.
Chris Metal.
Hello, everybody.
That is Chris Metal. He's producing today. Him and Drew have switched spots. I was just going to ask, do we call you Drew and do we call you Chris Metal? And
Are you
will
serious?
today's opinions and views...
Call me dark metal.
Dark metal.
You know what? That's what it
Wow.
should be now. Dark Metal.
Dark metal.
Dark Metal Drew.
Hey.
I think it works.
Oh,
Why, Chris? I think it works.
That's fine.
So again, we've got Chris Metal. Chris Metal, where can we find you when you are not here? Tell us in the camera.
ChrisMetalRadio.com, Skyhawk Radio Talk Channel, and at any heavy metal show in the area, any day of the week.
Listen to that. He's a busy
Tell me.
guy. Drew,
Yeah,
how are you
yo.
today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. How does it feel to be co-hosting today?
It's pretty good.
Are you anxious? Do you feel like pushing buttons?
Yes.
He's
I know,
definitely
it
going to
does.
help today. I have a feeling. So
I'm just not used to looking around.
Right. So again, we just switched cameras. So again, we have J-Dog Brooks in the house from Platinum Pro Wrestling. If you want to give another hello, we're going to go ahead and shout out later. We're going to go ahead and give a recap. We just had Fight for Independence this weekend.
You're not going to say hi to me today?
I was going to. Oh,
Right.
why
That's
every
right.
time I'm
I just
doing an
felt
introduction, every
You were
time
out
I'm
of order.
But I don't even. I did. I know I switched things up. But every time I intro, every Monday, everybody
soup for you.
jumps at me
No soup
like,
for you.
"Can I just get
oh,
to
you
you?"
got the long boo.
Let's go.
Consistency is key.
J-Dog, are you going to say something to Siobhan? No. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. But we do have Siobhan here as always. And I was just getting to say that she's part of the Platinum Pro Wrestling team. That's why J-Dog Brooks is here, because this side of the room
Oh,
was going to
geez.
discuss later
I feel like
on.
I've been forced at gunpoint, though.
No, she's part of the gang.
Yeah.
Whether I
Pistol
like
whip.
it or not.
There's no way you got to.
You
You have
would
to
love
wrestle
it.
your way out. It really works that way, right? So again, yes. And we're going to discuss Jenna Van Muscles later. We have lots to discuss when it comes to Platinum Pro Wrestling. So again, J-Dog, Brooks,
Can
Siobhan,
we just discuss
Kay
dinner, please? Thank you.
from Day by Day.
By day.
Siobhan, say
By
hi.
day.
Hi.
How
Hi.
was your weekend?
Yeah, I spent it with you at wrestling.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that kind
So
of
again,
weekend.
we're gonna get into that later, because we've got lots to discuss. It was a really, really great show, and the energies just continued to pour on over Sunday onto today.
What?
Yes. So we're moving it. Can't you guys feel it?
I can feel the love to you in here.
Feel it right here.
So in addition to today being Monday, July 9th, it's also National No Bra Day.
What? Oh, thank
What?
God, because
Oh, I forgot
I
to
didn't
put
want to
mine
wear
on.
mine.
You know,
I wasn't wearing mine.
some
You guys left the house without it.
Suffrage.
pretty much every day.
It's also National Don't Put All Your Eggs in One Omelet Day.
Oh, I did
Well,
that
no
too.
one's put them.
And it's also OJ Simpson's birthday.
Oh, it's my dad's
The
birthday
juice.
too. My dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad, and OJ.
Happy birthday, Daddy Drew.
I look like OJ too.
It is, yes. Happy birthday, Drew's dad.
Happy birthday. You know, so.
So yeah, everybody have a good weekend. The weekend
we
went
got a thumb.
rather fast.
It did go fast because I had to work.
Anybody, when we just came back from 4th of July, how was everyone's 4th of July? Last time we were
Excellent.
here,
Perfect. I have all my
Excellent.
fingers on my toes, and so does my family. So I'm happy.
show us those fingers, Drew.
You want to see one finger or just
Ooh, I'll show you the driving fingers.
He has. Everybody still has 10 fingers
the
left.
one they use when I'm driving?
Or 8 and 2. Yeah.
It does. Look at that.
No, I had an awesome 4th of July.
What did you do? Anything special or?
I was on the beach all day, fireworks at night, grill,
What?
beer,
What?
bikinis.
What?
Not on me. I had my Speedo on.
Oh, thank God.
But I mean, it was perfect beach day because it was overcast and you still got some sun because it was so hot.
No
But
one's
the
listening
cloud
because
was
now
completely
everyone's
over.
thinking about you and his speed.
I was thinking about all the bikinis that were there.
What did you do?
Not cool at all.
I'm going to therapy now.
I'm gonna
Wow.
go poke my mind's eye out.
I can't
wasn't
get
the only
image
one.
out of my
We're
head.
just joking with you, Chris
Real-
Meadow. We're
real
just
good.
joking.
Yeah? Yeah. Oh, yes.
This
yes,
sucks.
Really?
I hate this place.
Well, we're glad to have you here. So it's been more than a week, or it's been more than 2 weeks since the young Thailand soccer team. Can I start over?
yes. Sure.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
It's been more than
Take
2
two.
weeks. Thank you. It's been more than 2 weeks since a young Thailand soccer team and its soccer coach became trapped inside a cave they were exploring in northern Thailand. The country's annual monsoons flooded the cave while they were still inside, prompting a massive search and rescue effort. So far, as of this morning, we've got 8 children out. We had 4 over the weekend, and then we had 4 more this morning, which leaves 4 more players inside the cave in
And the
addition
coach.
to the coach.
They should leave the coach.
Okay,
I got a theory what happened. This is my theory.
go ahead, because Siobhan and I have been researching this for days. So Siobhan, you've got some facts as well as far as why they went in.
Field down there. They go on
Yeah.
there deep enough. It'd be
Miami-
like this
Miami
venue
was
for a
building a
soccer
soccer
game.
field down there. My theory is that they had gone there before, and I think they probably went in. It started raining. They got caught, and it started flooding. And they probably tried to run back to outrun it, and ended up 2.5 miles later away. So I think that's when they got caught at that point. But 2.5 miles. That's not a.
But as you said, they were in there before.
They were in there before, and it started to rain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once they in there before, they had been in the tunnel numerous of times.
Right.
Now they went in this time, and it started to rain, and I think it started to flood, and they ran back away from the flood and got deeper and deeper and deeper into it.
And they were flooded in. Siobhan.
I kind of agree with that. That I think they got in there and it started raining and they got disoriented and it's dark in
Right.
there. And
Oh yeah, you can't.
instead of walking towards the exit, they just were into the cave and then got trapped.
And you said as well earlier that there's a really experienced cave diver who said this just isn't the time of year to go into caves, basically on that side of the world.
Right. Because I mean, this is monsoon season and I know we get a lot of rain here, but unless you've experienced monsoons in that part of the world, they're pretty crazy. They have, and we'll get to a story later on about such severe flooding in Japan that's happening because of the
that's really
same
bad.
monsoons. But, you know,
It's like 100
it
people
rains
dead
there, a
from that.
monsoon hits, and everything's just flooded
Like-
immediately.
How liable is this coach? If any
Yeah,
of
I
these
don't know. I've
kids,
been thinking about
if
that.
any of these kids don't make it out of
Well,
there.
he wrote a letter to the parents apologizing profusely about it,
Okay.
and they wrote back saying, "Don't worry about it. Just get out."
And
Right.
he has given up his supplies to the children as well. So
As he
that's
should.
as
And
he
he's helped
should.
them stay calm through it because he knows how to meditate and all that yogi stuff and got them calm. So they're
All
not
that yogi
freaking
stuff?
out.
No, he's a former Buddhist
Right.
priest.
So
he
he's-
like
Well,
studied Buddhism.
Okay.
Pretty
He's
in
got
depth.
Maybe there was a temple down there or something. He heard a
Well,
rumor
that's
about.
why, because where Chris is leading to the reason why they were in the cave, and you read over the weekend that the reason why they were in the cave was because
I don't.
weren't they doing an initiation to?
You always get me confused with someone else.
No, but it's the article you sent me though, the Vox article you sent me. I thought you and I were discussing because you and I have been sending
All right.
information back
So-
and forth all
Right.
weekend. But it was supposed to be a special initiation for the soccer team to go down there and write their names, wasn't it? To go down
they
there.
were planning to go right there.
Now you remember
I didn't think it was
conversation
like a
that you
big
told me.
initiation
Thanks,
or
Vaughn, for
something.
backing me up.
I didn't think it was a big rite of passage, just writing their names on the wall.
No, but wasn't that why
kids
they went
to
further?
do.
Because I was asking you, why did they go in there in the first place?
to
And
go write their names on the
right,
wall.
to go
Are you
write their names on
serious?
the wall.
Are you Are you really?
Did you just say that?
I did. Now, okay.
Did I
This-
just say what?
She didn't know what was going on, and then she remembered the whole story.
No, but she made it
popped up,
sound like
you know,
she
it
was
just came
getting
out of
to
it,
like
you know?
this big initiation
What
that
do
they
you-
went in there,
Well,
but it was just
I don't
boys
take
being
anything.
boys going in to write their name on the wall.
Okay.
And just
But why is the coach
explore.
like but
These-
it must have been a field trip type. It was organized. There's 12 boys.
Well,
It's
that's how they knew
definitely
that's how they knew they were in there.
organized.
This
They knew they were
cave-
in there.
This cave does not have the walls of the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Okay, so there's very few names on this wall
Here's
inside
why.
this cave. Okay,
Don't make it back.
and you got 12 kids on the soccer team that,
Mhm.
who should be on a soccer field practicing or playing soccer.
Not in a cave.
This guy has got them going 2.5 miles down a cave
That's
where
real
it's
far.
not the ideal time of year to be going down there, and any local would know it. And
Hence
if
the
any of these
signs.
kids get injured or pass or perish from being down there, he's going to have a lot to answer for. Because I mean, I gather he didn't get permission slips from all 12 parents like you have to do here in the United States. They probably got some stupid like riffraff laws down there that you don't have to do, and you don't have to get any kind of consent to do it. So he just sends him wherever he wants. He could be.
Oh, I'm sure
like-
the parents is a Buddhist, is a previous Buddhist
Oh,
piece. They
God.
probably like trusted
Trust
him.
him.
I mean, that's like
and he's their coach. He's not.
I don't
Nope.
think they think over here like how Americans feel about like Catholic priests. Like I know over here we wouldn't take 12 young boys
Too
and send them
soon, too soon.
to.
I was alluding to that. What
I
if he's
know,
down
but
there?
You've been trying to go towards that avenue, but
Because how can you not rule that out? It's like a Boy Scout
because
trip
I know, and
or
we
something else.
Wake up trick. Okay, you want to get out of the room? Here's what you got to do.
And for these kids, it's like
First,
this is not.
who's
Got
first?
a new patch feeder.
Well, right now, so
new
again, there's
service.
4 boys left in the coach, but
Right.
to get the boys out, experts have had to guide them diving through the cave's dark, tight, and twisting passages. The first 4 that were brought out are reportedly happy and in good health. They've all asked for a Thai dish, which is made of
Oh, you kidding? I'd be
meat
picking
fried
out.
with chili
I'd
and
be-
basil served over
I would
rice.
be
Wait,
picking out.
what is it?
What do you want-
It's called cow pad grappo.
What do you want to eat?
Wow.
I'll
Yes.
go get that.
You'd be like, what do you want to eat? Yes.
Yeah.
Although my favorite
How
Thai
did-
food is the
how did the-
masaman curry. But we should go try that as like in honor of these boys.
So
how
going
did
to
the,
dinner.
how
right?
did the coach determine 4 go first, which 4 go
Well,
second?
that was another
Coach
question.
didn't
Oh,
determine
the-
No,
that.
yeah.
Did he keep his
How-
favorite
the
for the
doctor
last
down there.
4?
That was a good
The
question.
doc-
I
the
wanted to
doctors
bring
down
that too.
there.
How do they choose
The
which
doctors-
kids?
Drawing
The
straws
doctors or divers who went down there, they determined which kid was strong enough to make the
Right.
Paper,
Well,
rock, and
yeah,
scissors
they
and
brought out
stuff
the
like
ones.
that.
I've heard differing stories. Some have said that they brought out the weakest kids first to get the medical
Weakest
attention
kids.
immediately. Others have said that they kept the weaker kids behind to give them a little more time to recover.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
about,
I'm
yeah.
not sure, but I know that the coach didn't decide. It was the
No,
rescuers
it was
who
the-
decided.
Right, yeah.
Like, let me see. You put on. You didn't. Oh, you stay. Yeah, right. You stay. Okay, you guys.
No, and unfortunately, so far there has been one casualty, though. Not joking, it
Was
was
the
a
diver.
Thai ex-Navy
Mixed
SEAL,
Yeah, he I guess got mixed up and ran out of oxygen.
and he ran out of oxygen. Yeah, and he was actually delivering oxygen.
Because apparently
to
they
the
have
team.
oxygen en route in different locations.
Yeah, like
So as they go
halfway.
along, yeah. So as they go along, they can grab it. And the plan is 1 kid with 2 divers.
Right.
One diver trails while the other one leads in front. With
The
kid.
one holding
Yeah,
his
hold on.
oxygen
Right.
tank is in front
It's
of
in
him.
front.
And doesn't it take about 5 hours? Isn't it like
They've been saying it's
2.5
been taking like
miles.
8 hours
A long
to get
way.
the kids
It's
out of
2
there.
and a
You're not
half
power
hours.
walking. You're crawling through certain
Two and a
areas
half
too.
miles.
They've got a lot of water out, so some of the places aren't underwater
Yes,
all
they
the
have
way,
They're
pumped
expecting
water.
rain though too.
but they're expecting rain. And then there's that one part where it's like
It's like a
100 foot.
ledge.
Yeah, that you
Yeah.
have to go down and then up like a toilet,
Right.
and they have to go down and come up. And unfortunately, the gap is 15 inches wide,
Right.
so only the kid has to go by himself until
Mhm.
then the diver goes after him.
Right.
So,
I ain't going down there.
yeah, I didn't lose anything down there.
Did anyone see the contraption that Elon Musk had
I didn't
sent?
see it, but I don't think he can use it.
I don't think so. Yeah, but he's worked. I mean, he was really on the ball with it and had this
At least he's
thing
at least he's
manufactured
tried
and sent
something,
it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he wants his name on the list of people who help when all the kids come out
Dang, I
successful.
would too.
No, I'm not saying it in a bad way.
Better than not help.
But he's
But
got,
it didn't,
yeah.
wasn't
no,
our
but
last
he's got
night.
he's got the equipment. He's definitely got the money, and he's got cutting edge technology at his disposal.
I
So,
think if they can keep that
you
water
know.
out, they'll do so much better.
well,
Because they're
it's
thinking
always a
about
good
they're
thing.
thinking about cutting through the top. They're thinking about drilling on the air holes, and those ideas are great. But at some point, you just gotta get them out, man.
So, what do we know about this coach? As far as like, is he normal? Is all his screws
normal.
tightened up?
He's
What's going on?
23.
There you go.
He's a
I mean, he's not like-
he's a Sagittarius.
No, but he's
He's
thank you.
He's single, ladies.
Drew has
He's
checked
got
this guy out.
Brown hair.
He's on Tinder. If you like. Like long walks in the tunnels,
Like long walks in the
Down in
caves.
caves.
He likes the little boys.
like spelunking.
No, guys,
Gosh, why do you assume the worst?
I'm not.
because we're Americans. This is reality over
Because
here.
if this was done here,
Oh,
then
that-
it's going to turn into this huge sex scandal.
No,
sex
it
abuse
just
scandal.
well, I
It's
think,
done
and
here.
that's where we do have to keep an open mind because over here things are differently. And you know what? This is how
the
we do.
porn
think
industry is huge over there, by the way.
No,
Say
yeah.
I
Go
thought
to
that was
Thailand.
more like transvestite type
Ooh,
stuff over
no.
there.
All
And
of the
hookers.
above under there. It's a giant umbrella over there.
Everything.
Okay.
If it
A lot of
walks and
stuff.
talks, it's on film.
We ready to move on to the next story?
Please.
Yeah.
Still crossing
We're
the
going down the
pond.
rabbit
What's the pond?
Quick.
Crossing the pond over to England this time. Plans to fly a giant inflatable figure depicting Donald Trump as a baby over London during the U.S. president's visit have been approved.
Do it.
Mr. Trump is due to meet Theresa May at 10 Downing Street on July 13th. Campaigners raised money for the helium-filled 6-meter-high figure, which they said reflects Mr. Trump's character as an angry baby with a fragile ego and tiny hands.
Oops.
Let me get pictures here. We have
Oh, it's the pictures are great. It's perfect.
It is.
It's amazing. They wasted their time over there. He's still president. He's still going over there.
So,
So
under
they can
he's-
all suck
He's
it.
going for
Seriously.
the what you get, but
right. So
or
again,
something.
under the plans, the inflatable will be allowed to fly for 2 hours on the morning of Friday, July 13th. Leo Murray, who is behind the crowdfunded idea, said, Mr. Trump really seems to hate it when people make fun of him.
Nah.
So when he visits the UK on Friday, we want to make sure he knows that all of it is looking down on him and laughing at him. Let's get another one here.
Oh, there's another quote.
No, another picture. Look at that one. So that's why a group of us have chipped in and raised enough money to have a 6-meter-high blimp made by a professional inflatables
Of
company.
course, it's got to be in meters.
Yes, well, it is. Again, it's
'cause,
across the pond.
After
To be
worlds of
flown in the
years.
skies over Parliament Square during Trump's visit. More than 10,000 people signed a petition calling the inflatable to be given permission to fly. However, before the figure can take off, campaigners will also need permission from the National Air Traffic Services, as the project constitutes a non-standard flight in controlled airspace.
Oh, yeah.
Because Parliament Square sits within restricted airspace, additional approvals are also needed from the Metropolitan Police.
Mm-hmm.
That's not.
But
gonna
do you
happen.
guys see this picture?
Yeah, it's hilarious. The picture of the actual blimp.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, and he's just going to be flying over as the president. The president's kind of taking it as a joke as well. But is this right to do? Is it tacky? We wouldn't do that to
Yeah.
it. Like if we had another.
You know why? Because we wouldn't spend the money. That's why. We're too
Well,
cheap.
it was crowdfunded, so that's just like
Like GoFundMe.
GoFundMe is the word I'm looking
Oh, then
for.
we would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
As
are
long
there
as-
any?
as long
Well,
as you have
let's just
permission.
think about it. Are there any like foreign leaders that we hate that much? You know, maybe if Kim Jong Un were coming here, we might. do
But we
something
didn't
like
even
that.
do that. We didn't
He
even do
hasn't come
that.
in- but he hasn't come here.
Oh, that's right. We did. We went over there.
It's-
I'm
Oh, they'll be-
thinking-
they'll be
It's a
demonstrations. Don't
gigantic
push for
waste of
demonstrations.
time. Like all these protests. Every time the group of people don't like what's going on, they go put these things on their heads and these stupid signs, and they go out there and protest. And then when people come out of a Trump rally at a place, they're getting haggled and assaulted by all these people who don't agree with them. So these protests are pointless. They don't get anything accomplished at all. They're just a gigantic waste of time, and they further divide this country. And it's complete BS. It absolutely is. They want to do this. This is funny. He's going to laugh at this. Does
I
this
hope
bother him? God, no. He's the president of the United States.
It'll bother him.
Yeah, I think he gets a good laugh out of it.
He gets
I
a
think
chuckle out of it,
that's-
just like he laughs about
I
what
think-
the nighttime hosts say and what all the media says. You know,
I think he likes the attention.
this is no different from when he was host of The Apprentice. People hated him then. People hate him because he's rich and successful. They're jealous and envious of it, and that's all.
I don't know.
That's all. And now he's the president. Now he's the top man in the world, and people hate him even more. So
Is he your president
he
yet,
thrives-
Drew?
No, he'll never be.
Mm-mm.
But he thrives on it. He thrives on people like Drew. He gets richer and more famous off of people like Drew. Believe me.
I don't think he's getting richer, bro.
Believe me. He's
Are we
still
ready to
gonna
move
be
on to the
huge.
next story, guys?
If he's getting richer, then that's a
Let's
problem.
go.
Have we found out if any celebrities actually moved out of the country yet? Like they were supposed
Yeah,
to?
no
Oh, they're all
celebrities
still
ever
here. They're all
moved.
still here bitching and whining like Madonna. I'm gonna blow up the White House. You say that when Obama's in there, you're gonna get arrested for everything.
You can say whatever you want.
Making threats on him. You know what I mean? If Obama's in there, this would never happen.
Well, moving on. Suspected poachers sneaked onto a South African game
That's
reserve
hilarious.
to hunt rhinos,
That
but
is hilarious.
a pride of lions found them instead.
Good.
A guide at
They
the
walked around the corner
Sibuya
and there
Game
they were.
Reserve, yes, they did, spotted what appeared to be human remains on Tuesday near the group
Whoa!
of lions, according to the reserve owner Nick Fox. It was getting too dark to search the area, so police came back the next day with the reserve's anti-poaching unit and other specialists. The remains were strewn over an area covered
Oh, they were
with
playing
thick
with them.
brush and fox, and they
They
said
were-
impossible to know how many people were even killed. Investigators did find three
There's not
pairs.
much left.
No, investigators did find 3 pairs of boots and 3 pairs of gloves. They also found a high-powered rifle with a silencer, wire cutters,
Nutshot.
and an axe that Fox said would have been used to remove a slain rhino's
They
horns.
also found a saw.
We're almost 100% sure that this is connected to rhino poaching. The 6 lions in the pride were tranquilized while the area was searched. Investigators and specialists combed the scene and managed to retrieve remains, which were taken by the Department of Health to conduct forensic testing.
There were probably
what's the
skulls.
test?
There were skulls and boots left. That's
Yeah, what's the
it.
Yeah.
test?
Everything
Just wait.
else
Listen, all you
is
do
a meal.
Wait
Everything
for the
else.
poop. Wait for the poop. When the poop comes out, it's all right there.
Oh, look for teeth. Look,
Yeah,
look
you
for
got
Well,
it.
like we did
Exactly.
with the gator, well, we don't want to,
Well,
Yeah.
no, they killed the gator, but this,
but they're not going to kill the lions.
no,
Like,
because the
they're-
lions are at
no
their
reason
house.
to kill him. The lions just save the rhinos.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Wait, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Hey, we're right around the corner from them. Come, we can see the rhino. What's that noise?
And they're all there.
No,
and
they-
they're mauled.
No, and the lions really had their time with these poachers because an anti-poaching dog signaled that it noticed something during a patrol about 4:30 a.m. and her handler heard a commotion from the lions. However, lions are they're often active at night, so the noise didn't raise any suspicions.
Oh my god!
So the dog that's alerting that something's going on
I
outside,
ignored it.
everybody's just like the lions constantly make noise. So
I just ignored it. What the-
Just
That's
like
funny.
some kind of things that go on around here. Oh, you alert somebody. No, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
No, you're fine.
That's hilarious.
According to this projection, you're okay. We don't
Yeah,
have to come
yeah.
and see you.
The dog says no. The dog says you're right. Bye.
It doesn't fall under the emergency.
And they just like, oh man, look at this. Look at his arm. Hey, you pull his arm. I'm gonna rip off his head. This
it is.
great.
That was just instant karma because it is against the law to poach rhinos for their horns. So I mean that's why they do have all
It's illegal
these
to poach anything.
security. Well, not like the white lady and her big giraffe
Can you-
last
can
week.
you-
No.
Oh, that's a whole. Oh, it's still. Oh boy, that was
That was nasty. That was just
yeah.
who does that?
the white lady from Michigan. Is she from Michigan? But can you imagine? Can you imagine just walking around a corner and there are
Huh?
At least it wasn't Florida.
Yeah, right.
yeah, right?
Not
Can you
yet.
imagine walking around a corner and there's 5 lions sitting there waiting for you.
Waiting.
Just like, oh, look what walked up.
And that music, Danger Zone, Kenny Loggins is playing. Telling you.
Dun. You hear that music? Come on. No, not hear nothing. Dun.
Well, with that being
No.
said, we're gonna go ahead and take a break so we can move on. We're actually we started a little bit late. So anyhow, when we come back, we are going to be talking more news. Again, we've got the Platinum Pro Wrestling update. Hold on, J-Dog Brooks is in the camera saying something.
No.
Or he's waving.
You're just looking.
So we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back on Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day podcast.
It's there.
From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happened this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day. By day.
And we're back to Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com.
I saw her.
Who did you see?
I saw her.
Oh, Genevieve Muscles?
Yep.
She is the hot topic of discussion today.
Yep.
We're going to give her a huge shout out because she is our new... What's her title? Grab that microphone. Get on point. See who's not
There
ready?
we go. There we go. Jenna Van Muscles is the new Starlight
Look at
champion.
that camera. She's a...
The new PPW Starlight champion, Jenna Van Muscles. She defeated Dynamite Dee this past Saturday night at Fight for Independence 2018 in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Huh? She's a heel. Do you know what that means, Drew?
Yeah,
That's
she's
why I
the
asked
bad.
her.
She's the bad. She's the bad.
I have to put the appropriate applause
We have to...
once again. I think she gets a long boot too.
She does, even though she's a heel, like she just, you know what? I think it's her. We're gonna get more into it later, but I just think it's her athleticism.
Honestly, heels are more fun
woman.
to appreciate and like, especially. I'm not like thinking of wrestling as a kid would, where you think it's completely real. I like more heels in WWE than the good guys. I really do.
Right.
There are more heels out there that are way more
most of-
entertaining, like Kevin
Most
Owens,
of
for
the good guys
example.
start out as your bad
Samoa
guy,
Joe. You know what I mean? Those guys are perfect. So
And they also go back and forth.
yeah.
So
Oh
good,
yeah.
then
But
up
they
and
got
down.
fans in the crowd. They've been buying the merch, so they're very believable. You know.
Come on in.
And you know the guys that you love to hate are the ones that are
okay.
basically the best at what they do. So
True. So we're gonna get more into it, but again, I just wanted to give her a huge shout out before we got started because our whole show today, we're gonna have Platinum Pro Wrestling in and and moving forward too, we're gonna have updates because our next show is when? What is it in?
It's Saturday, August 18th, and it'll be in West Palm Beach, Florida at the CrossFit Squad. New spot, new area. West Palm Beach has no independent professional wrestling right now, and you will have Platinum Pro Wrestling in West Palm Beach.
And that's gonna be on again.
August 18th.
And the name of the show? Summer Meltdown. And we just, again, came off of Fight for Independence. So we're going to move on to news. Siobhan has a little more news to discuss before we move on to sports. Go ahead, Siobhan.
Yes. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of chords in my way today. Rescuers in Japan are digging through mud and rubble in order to find survivors after torrential rain unleashed floods and landslides. At least 114 people and dozens others are missing. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe canceled his overseas trip to deal with Japan's worst flood disaster since 1983. And several million people are forced out of their homes currently. Thankfully, rain has tapered off across the region today, but the temperatures have climbed to 86 degrees, and causing concerns for people for having heat stroke because millions, 11,000 households have no electricity. They have no running water either. So kind of a dangerous situation. Even though the torrential rains have subsided, smaller storms may cause landslides and further damage. So kind of I think this is kind of the same type of monsoon system that is affecting those boys in Thailand.
Right.
And those storms are no joke.
There's nobody trapped in caves in Japan, right?
I don't think so. Not that we
but do we
of.
know how long like a monsoon season typically lasts? Like we have
It has to
hurricane
be
season,
similar to the hurricanes. It has to last a number of
right?
months.
I mean, a good 6 months.
Yeah, I
like
think
at
so.
least, you know,
I'll
they're
probably
gonna
say
have
that
like the weather patterns out there. They're very famous for in that what they call the Ring of Fire, and the crazy weather, typhoons and monsoons and stuff like that. We get the hurricanes, but I think
Well, the typhoon is the same.
I think
as a hurricane.
but I think massive tidal waves are a bit more dangerous. I think
has a longer time to gain strength.
water does
And
more
that's why they
potential
call it
damage than
typhoon.
hurricanes do severe damage. But imagine if there's just a gigantic wave pool that you cannot get out of. You know what I mean?
What's a tsunami?
Well, tsunami, tidal wave, all those things, all the above, they're all dangerous.
But
And
a monsoon
that-
is just a really strong system, not like a
Right.
hurricane has all the winds, but a monsoon it just dumps a lot of rain.
water. Yeah.
So,
That area is very famous for nasty weather related stuff.
and speaking of bad weather, thankfully Hurricane Chris has kind of just stalled
Whoa,
out.
hurricane what?
Hurricane Chris.
Get out of
heard
here.
about Hurricane
You didn't
Chris
hear
over the
about that?
weekend?
Man, I better do some damage.
Did you
No.
know we've had two?
No damage.
Did you know we have two storm systems? Before she moves on, though, since he didn't hear about Chris, did you hear about
not.
Burl?
Barrel.
Barrel?
Barrel. I'm going to
Did
get
not.
to Barrel in a minute, but Hurricane Chris is kind of stalled out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Just temporarily, we'll be back.
No, and it's planning to go northeast.
He's gonna rest
so
up.
it's
I'm
it's
actually
gonna
going in
die
3
out.
weeks, 22
Yeah,
days.
So you could go shake hands with Chris if you
Absolutely.
want. But Hurricane Beryl, which
Barrel.
is now downgraded to I don't see
Tropical storm, I
tropical
think.
storm. Maybe what's up?
Just read it.
Okay, thank you. Monsoon season. You could have said that, Drew. It
Oh,
sounded
that's
It's
very
your story, though.
Monsoon
Okay.
season is June 15th to September 30th.
Thank
Okay,
you.
June 15th to September 30th.
So only
June-
3.5 months.
Okay, but I'm not going to cut. I am going to cut you off real fast. Only because
Wow.
when we were younger, hurricane season wasn't like 6 months, but now it is.
It's like
almost
6 months now.
Yeah.
It's forever.
June to November. June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, okay. Anyhow. So yeah, where was I? It's maybe thank you there.
Earl.
It may be reforming as a storm later this week. Weather experts say it has a nearly 0% chance of developing into a tropical depression in the next 2 days. However, there's a greater risk, up to a 40% chance of developing into something much stronger after that. So we'll see. It's kind of over Puerto Rico right now and
Puerto
expected
Rico.
to head northwest straight towards us here in South Florida. So, yay.
Are you serious?
Barrel,
Barrel.
which is a very
Barrel.
old-fashioned name.
Say it. You say it.
Burl.
Barrel.
Right. She said. Like, I'm thinking Merle.
It's like
Like,
Merle, but Burl.
is it Merle? Like Southern
It's like
name?
Merle,
Is
but
it Merle?
It's Burl.
Merle.
But there's a Y in it, so it's barrel.
Yeah, I
Tomato,
got a friend, her name is
tomato.
Merle. and she's
Depends
got
on
a
what
Y.
part of town you're from.
I was gonna say right up in north, maybe.
Merle.
Well, you're California. You're West Coast.
I had
That's when
an
you
Aunt
get barrel.
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 Is there in my
That's how they
family?
say it
Southern
out
down
there.
here is like barrel.
It is an
Barrel.
old-fashioned Southern name.
Well, at least we've gotten 2 names off the list. I don't. That's how I feel when hurricane season comes.
Well, we
It's
got
like-
the A too, because they go in alphabetical
Oh, that's right. So
order.
we've got
but
A, B, and C.
Hurricane A, I forget what
Alberto,
it was.
was it? I think it was.
Was it Alberto?
I think it was
I know
Alberto.
J is Joyce
Okay.
this year.
Maybe we'll
How did
probably
you
get
know?
there.
I stay on top of these things. I don't know why.
But that one, the first hurricane formed before hurricane season had even started, remember?
Right.
And now we have
You're right.
Beryl and then Chris. We probably will get to Joyce before too long.
Tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. Anyways, we're going to just stay on the topic of the environment here today. So we should all be leaving a teaspoon of sugar out for the little bees. I feel like I've seen a lot of dead bees this year.
Do you hear this? Are you taking notes over there, please? So
are
we can
you killing bees?
No, to add to the
I was
addition.
gonna say, I know you love animals, so I can't imagine that you'd be killing
that's why I'm
bees.
saying to add to the addition with the raccoons, the possum.
You can be a bee farmer. Jeff. So there you go.
Just be yourself.
So if you want to help save, because experts say that the population of bees has dropped by 1/3 in the last 5 years, which is pretty
Is that all
severe.
types of bees?
The important ones. The ones
Hasn't
we
one
need
just
to-
gone on the extinction list? There's one type that just made
the
it.
ones that we need to
I
pollinate
think
our
bees
flowers.
overall is what they're getting at. And if they say also that if bees disappear, humans are not far behind.
That's
They've
right.
got about 4 years left if bees disappear.
So what are we gonna do?
This is what you
Leave
have
it to
to
the
do.
cockroaches.
Very
Die.
simple to save the world, Chris. Something you can do, everyone can do.
Hurricane Chris.
A spoonful of sugar can do more than help the medicine go down.
No,
That's
I'm about to say
according to,
that, yeah.
haha, this is a funny story. Simply leave out a spoonful of sugar for the bees. Put it in your grass, out on your lawn, or in the plants
So you want me
somewhere.
to
So
put-
we can distribute it though? Like
No,
the
no, no,
spoon?
no. So it's 2 parts sugar to 1 part water inside the little spoon, and just leave it out
I
there for the
can't do that.
bees. They'll come and recharge their batteries.
Leave the
essentially.
spoon out there?
Yeah, I can't do that because then the mosquitoes will come. So-
Well, put it away from your dwelling because it'll probably attract ants also. But it'll also attract the bees who will land on it
Now,
and
is-
kind of recharge their batteries.
Are
in order.
those bees indigenous to everywhere or just around here?
I don't know. Bees are everywhere. And they're
No, I
needed
understand that.
for
But there's also
populating.
wasps, yellow jackets, honeybees, the nice bees. The
Make
good
sure you
ones.
do it in a safe spot though, not a spot that you typically go to. Give them their own little space
Yeah.
so you're not hanging with the bees.
I'm sure these aren't the ones that sting you. I'm sure these are the ones
No,
that
all
have
bees
honey
sting.
and all those
Sting.
things.
Sting.
And all bees are useful though, and that's why they sting you.
Well,
for
I have
protection.
those that palm tree in my front yard that's 1,000 feet tall, and at the top of it are those fruits, and they're all in that. And eventually I can't reach to cut it down, so I'll just leave it up there.
Nice.
You're
What?
doing your part for the
Yeah,
environment.
my part
Drew.
for the
Thank you.
environment and burl.
Barrel. So this is Canadian statistics. They say that
Eh?
the Canadians
Are you serious?
say that the number of honeybee colonies has actually increased 3.6% from 2017 to a record high of 721,106. Who counts? Populations have been in decline
two,
in other parts of the world due to the destruction of natural habitats, diseases, and pesticides. So that's good news for the bees in Canada, I guess.
They're running over the border.
Yeah, they're escaping north too. Anyway,
Right. Well, that's a good question. Yeah.
Free
but-
honey.
Free honey and wax.
Wax.
so yeah, I'm gonna do this. I hope everyone.
You're gonna
else
become a
does.
bee counter?
I know. I'm gonna leave a spoonful of sugar out for the bees.
Hey, what is some of that job? I mean, we just come today. I counted 4.
Siobhan, we just found out a couple of weeks ago she was once a Victorian maid.
That's right.
For Vanderbilt
I
in
thought you were
another
gonna say
life.
Victoria's Secret.
For Vanderbilt in another life.
Yes.
I've shown several people the
Whoa!
video since I posted it.
Look, this is me. This is me.
Okay, staying on the environment topic. Finally,
Staying alive.
Seattle, the largest U.S. city to ban plastic straws. And
Was it Seattle or was it the coffee?
according to National Geographic, Seattle is the first city to
Oh.
ban. Just let me finish my story.
Oh, sure, yeah, sorry.
Which that your company is. Go ahead.
Yes, and not surprisingly, since it is its
So
home city, Starbucks plans to phase out plastic straws by the year 2020. McDonald's. Why is that a boo?
I can't stand Starbucks. But that's for another day, another conversation.
McDonald's recently announced it will banned plastic straws at its UK and Ireland restaurants. I don't know why not the US, but probably that will not be far behind.
Pizza one.
A food service company with 1,000 locations has announced that it will also phase out plastic straws. Alaska Airlines will be one of the first airlines to phase out plastic straws and stir to an environmentally conscious Girl Scout. I'm not going to get into all the details of the Girl Scout, but we should know that 500 million straws are used every single day in the U.S. alone.
How many?
500 million.
Half a billion straws. I used one today.
I did too, and
So
so
did
did
I.
Joy. Joy's used 2.
But imagine a world without straws.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have a solution.
Right, see?
I have a solution
J-Dog
to
is
the
used
straw
to.
crisis.
Called sipper cups. That's all you got to do.
I have a solution to the straw crisis.
Mhm.
No.
Why don't they, first of all, make them recyclable, or you leave them at the store, and then they bring them back in and they wash them like they wash any
Ew.
utensil, and then
Oh,
reuse them.
That's not gonna work.
No.
Okay, you put forks and spoons in your mouth at restaurants,
Yeah, but
and
they
they
don't
wash
have
those and put
the
them back.
hollow-
I'm not saying
There's
those
metal
plastic-
ones,
I'm not
but
saying
there are
those
metal
plastic
ones
straws.
like that.
I'm saying like high tech.
There's metal ones. There's
drink
metal
sucking
straws.
devices.
There are, yes.
Yeah, there's metal straws that
Yeah, I
you can
have
put
one
in a
cup.
dishwasher.
Yeah, I'm not saying them red and yellow striped ones from McDonald's. Like
And
throw those back in.
Think
the
about
bin,
water
like, recycle
bottles.
those.
Think about
I'm not
like
saying that
water
at all.
bottles now, and those water bottles always have the same type of straw, and we
Those
washed
things.
them out.
They are hard to wash out, though. I have one that
They
I've been trying to
are.
get clean
They-
for months.
it's
and
awful to
just-
wash
Okay, do you
Just
see
let
what
it go.
bartenders do with the cups and glasses that people use? They go in one sink, they go in the second sink, and then the third one, and then on a strainer to drain. And people still drink out of those if
But
they don't
alcohol-
use the straw.
alcohol kills
So
the
I mean, give me a break.
Guys,
So if
I
you
was
have
coming up with
those,
something.
if you have those water bottle
try.
straws that we just talked about, and you put those in some type of cleaning thing, and then you sold a drink to somebody at a McDonald's or a Wendy's or Wawa or something, and they have those straws, you either put them back in the thing or you bring one in with you if you want to use a straw when you have a drink or something. So if they're going to ban these plastic straws and stirrers
Why
that we've
can't-
been using for generations, then why can't they come up with a straw that can be reused over and over again?
But why can't they just make a recyclable straw?
I just said
No,
that.
I'm saying not with dishwasher wise, but out of a
Are you
material that we
serious?
can
That's what
constantly
they
Easily
do. I
recycle.
think some people there's
Have you ever
plastic
have
or
you ever
paper
tried?
straws.
Have you ever tried drinking
do
out of a
not
paper
work.
straw?
Yes,
It's
That
not, it's not
is-
great. It's
you
really
have to hurry. You have to hurry.
You have,
That
to,
is-
you have to hurry. You're absolutely
When-
right.
When I read that story this morning though about the plastic straws, I'm like, please no paper straws.
Yeah,
Please
those
no
don't
paper
work.
straws. That is just a waste of. That's a waste of an idea.
What did you say about super cups or something like that?
Sippy cups. Everyone should get issued a
Right.
sippy cup.
Everybody has like a cup or something like that. And you go into a store or an establishment, you bring your travel mug from Dunkin' Donuts or something,
Scan it,
and they
beep
put
it,
the coffee in
put
it.
the water in it.
But it may come to a point in time where we are bringing our own utensils and dishes to restaurants to eat. You know, we bring our own bags to grocery stores now.
Well, they won't let you bring your
So
own
why would
utensils.
this be so far off from reality? What I just
Right.
said about a
Nobody
recyclable
cups.
type
Oh,
of straw,
oh.
But
or a
could you
straw that can be
imagine-
reused.
But I don't think you want people bringing their own knives and crap. No.
That-
Next thing you know,
that's
people
different.
show with Ginsu and you know.
No, but
So-
that's a little off the beaten path of what we're
there's already
talking
a
about.
bit
But
Okay, let me get
That's
to
what I
a
said, a
few
bit.
other facts here. One study published earlier this year estimates that about 8.3 billion plastic straws pollute the world's beaches. This is
college
this is,
students pollute beaches
This is
too.
kind of the conversation that Joy and I were having earlier. That 8 million tons of plastic flow into the ocean every year. However, the straws, those plastic straws, only account for 0.025% of that. So, is banning plastic straws really going to save our oceans?
When
Shouldn't
they-
they
when
be
they-
banning something else?
When they want to ban the straws, it's because of the consumption, 500 million a day. That's why they want to ban them, not because they're coming up with percentage of pollution in the oceans. It's because
but
of the amount
that's the
that we-
argument that a lot of them are using for the purpose that they are banning them.
But that is
because it
every
pollutes the
single day,
ocean.
exactly.
And
but
more than likely, it's going to be. You're
but
gonna step on
plastic
it.
water bottles
Bottom
are collecting in the bottom of the ocean way more than straws.
And the
Of
straws are
course.
So
straws
this
are
is-
more
But
litter.
that's the point that a lot of
straws
people
are
are
more
making.
litter
It's
in the
really
city, not so much
the
in the
the
ocean.
impact of saying like let's take away straws.
Because they're polluting
Is-
the ocean.
I mean,
not really.
it's not making a huge impact on.
No, 'cause
It's making a teeny tiny.
it's
dent,
something. There's
but
a fraction
Other
percentage.
things that we could maybe work
Well,
on,
the
and maybe
first
that's
thing we
what
should
we'll
get
leave
If we
it.
were going through 500 million plastic bottles a day, then they would ban those.
Well,
But
we
that
are.
that number's not as high as the straws apparently, and the straws and stirs and things like that.
Well, I think the straws are. It's more of a trash issue, but in the city. But if you want to get rid of something, get rid of those plastic 6-pack holder things.
Yeah, those are bad too.
And bottles.
I always cut those before I put them in the.
Well, maybe you make the plastic bottles the glass bottles and make them recyclable and give people a couple money back from it.
Have you seen the video? This makes me feel like, okay, let's ban all straws, just period. Because the video of the little turtle that they rescued and they pulled a straw out of his nose. Oh, that was so sad. Poor little guy.
Was he blowing lines with his turtle buddies?
No.
Wasn't being himself?
Poor baby. So that's why we should ban them, so they don't get stuck in turtle noses.
Get stuck in turtles'
No,
noses.
both sides of this argument are valid, plain and simple.
Yeah, they are. And, over time, it's just going to be more items.
There'll be ways to avoid these things. That's all. You just got to work at it.
Just no paper straws.
No reason why. There's no reason why in 2018 that we need a use one time type of thing, and just use it and throw it out. There's no reason why things can't be reused and repurposed.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
There's no reason whatsoever.
And why are people throwing trash out? Ugh, it irks me.
I mean, people were filling the landfills in the 60s and 70s with oil cans and oil containers and all sorts of things.
They were pouring oil down the drain.
They had this use once mentality, and nobody ever heard of the word recycled. So until that came along, we're just dumping things out. We're just throwing things away that can be completely reused
because
over and over again.
Once you throw it away, no one thought about it after that.
No, because the consumption wasn't where it's at today back then. So it wasn't a big epidemic last year like it is now.
Yeah, but if let's say in the 50s we started recycling, then it would grow to be when you don't recycle.
That's when the invention of these things were coming about in the 50s. Yeah. But just think how many years. I mean, it's only been a matter of 50, 60 years, 60, close to 70 years where we are now thinking of a limit. It's just been such a huge waste to our environment and to our planet.
But they weren't pulling straws out of turtles in the 50s.
Right.
So I wasn't making a big deal out of it.
They didn't kill it. It's cooked turtle.
Back to the straws real quick. I agree with getting rid of them if we're going to burn through 500 million a day. I mean, that's ridiculous. More than the hamburgers McDonald's puts out a day or whatever.
That will eat into your supplies.
That is you don't need to dispose of things like that.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Joy, you mentioned the paper straws. Those cost a penny more for the restaurants to use.
Really?
So if they do switch it, it's actually going to cost them more to use paper straws.
There are these straws I've seen
that
just have the natural bend to them, and they're made of a hard plastic or even glass straws, and they're about yay long, yay big, and they have a curve at the top, so it sticks
usually attached
in
to
the
a
cup.
bong, though.
And it put
it's usually attached to a bong.
You put it in the cup. And
that's what that is, Chris.
The other end hangs off. The end that you sip with is hanging out the cup. People,
yeah. Those are legally known as water pipes, Drew.
Yes.
We'll all carry around our water pipe in order to drink soda.
Hey,
new business right there online.
Or you could just be pulling them out of turtles for the rest of existence. You know what I mean?
They'll be fighting you back. Don't give that back.
Solutions are offered, yet nothing's done about it. And this idea has probably been pitched a long time ago. It's been shot down by paper companies and companies who make straws.
Well, hopefully it does just make an impact, though, to our oceans, because they really are full of trash these days, just like the land we walk on. So hopefully it will make a difference. Again, at least it's a start in the right direction.
Yep.
Right?
Perhaps,
you can't knock them.
Perhaps.
Nobody's knocking it. Nobody's knocking it.
I'm interested to see what kind of designs they come up for the new cups that are strawless cups.
Right. She was saying like strawless cups.
Starbucks is trying to develop, rather than like replacing plastic straws with paper straws, try to develop some kind of a cup that you could drink from.
And I'll bet you they don't close the stores for a day to train the staff on what they should do. Right?
Probably not.
No, just how they should treat people.
Not a company email or memo.
Ridiculous.
I mean, I've seen cups that had the straws built into them.
What's wrong with that,
kids?
That may work.
I mean,
straws, like you said, the metal straws.
Metal.
Starbucks is very innovative.
They are.
Like that, so
yeah, very innovative.
Plus, they need to do something for their PR, like in a positive direction. So this will help them.
Yeah.
Disney cast member killed. What does it say, Drew?
An industrial accident.
What's
killed
the industrial
this
accident?
just in from Fox News.
Oh, he's on Fox News.
Oh, he's on Fox
CNN
News.
must be down right now.
It just says
CNN must be on a Trump bashing overload.
But apparently, a Disney cast member was killed in an industrial incident.
Apparently,
Pop Century Hotel. Yeah. There's no details on it just yet.
Mm.
It's a
It was found
breaking news
unconscious,
story.
30-year-old unconscious, and pronounced deceased at the scene.
Wonder what happened.
Sorry to hear that. The parks are full. It's summertime right now.
We'll see if there are more
Peak
details up and
season.
coming. We'll check back on that before the end of the show.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
we
is
will.
peak season. So before we take a break, we just want to announce that Saturday, October 13th, 2018, it is that time of year again. Are you ready, Siobhan?
I will be ready.
You will. We're getting ready, but it's going to be the Susan G. Komen More Than
Oh.
Pink walk.
I thought it was a Toys R Us.
It's
Heck
just gone.
I thought it was
yeah.
Toys R Us catalog release.
Toys R Us is got what?
What?
We're having a Toys R Us party October 13th? No, that's not what's happening. So again, it is the Susan G. Komen of Miami and Fort Lauderdale More Than Pink walk. There will be a 5K and a 1 mile. You can walk or you can run, whatever you'd like.
You can drive?
Not drive.
You can't
You can
drive.
drive a bike.
Okay, right. About that.
Yes. However, currently the Susan G. Komen Foundation of Miami and Fort Lauderdale is having a Team Tent Challenge event. So if your team can fundraise $300 or register a team of 30 or more people by July 31st, you'll receive a 1 free 10x10 team tent. So which means that if you get a group, if you raise at least $300 for the event or 30 people, when you go to the event, they will give you a free 10x10 tent for you and your team to go out there, relax. You can promote your products.
What?
Yeah, it's a really great deal for businesses because you can bring your whole business out there. After the race, you have your tent. You can put out your supplies. You can put out promo items. So all the money really goes to a great cause. Siobhan, what do you love about being a partner of Susan G. Komen?
I love everybody's energy, really. Everybody's got such good attitudes and they're all pumped to make a change and make a difference and stuff. So
It is.
that's kind of fun.
And these are actual women who have gone through breast cancer who really take the lead with this foundation in raising money for their own cure. So it's really a great cure. It's really a great fun day. So we'll be there. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Everybody wave to your cameras because I have all 3 cameras on us.
There we go.
It is. I've got a three screen thing going on here. It's really awesome. So when we come back, we finally have sports coming up, and that's when we're going to do our Platinum Pro Wrestling recap. Again, we have J-Dog Brooks from Platinum Pro Wrestling here in the studio. He's over there waving. So again, we will be right back. Make sure you stay tuned to Now Trending Live right here on NowTrendingRadio.com.
What's up?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day podcast. From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happening this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day.
And we're back to Now Trending Live right here on Now Trending Radio. So we're going
Trending
to
live.
get into sports, which we've got a sports fan over here. So Siobhan, I don't know if you want to put that mic in the middle, because I know he's going to... J-Dog
The
Brooks
only
is-
thing I have to talk about is the All-Star game. So when we get to that,
Yes,
I'll have something to say.
you will.
Okay, fine.
But Mr. Sports can't ever help himself over here. He's not only Mr. Wrestling, but he's also Mr. Sports. And I know he won't be able to
Maybe.
keep quiet.
I
So,
don't know.
Chris, Drew, what are you working
Yes.
with to get things started?
Well, I think in the world of sports, I think that the top of the list has to be the World Cup semifinal, which is starting tomorrow at 2
Mhm.
o'clock. The final, let's call them the final four, I guess. I don't know. France and Belgium kick it off tomorrow, and England and Croatia play on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern both days. These are the unlikely teams that were in the finals, because a lot of people picked the likes of Brazil and Colombia, Spain, even Portugal, to be even Russia, the home country, played well. Expecting all of those teams or some of them to be in the finals, and they're not.
Well, Russia only made it because they were the home team. They got to be in it because of that. But I agree with you. There's still a presence. And in Germany, I guess something we should have seen the game, which was Germany against
Mexico.
Right, and they lost.
Yeah.
I guess at that point.
Oh,
we
Germany.
should-
Yeah, I left
We
them
should
out.
have seen it coming, but you didn't.
No.
And you're right. All the big boys, Brazil, Colombia, Germany,
Spain, Portugal,
Spain. Bye.
Argentina. Because
Bye.
they think of these high profile players are all sitting at home watching the World Cup.
Yeah.
And everybody thought they were going to be in Russia for an extended period of time.
And this
and they're already
stuff-
home.
And this football is life.
Now,
Life.
I'm not crazy about the penalty kicks deciding games,
No, me
just
neither.
like I'm not in favor of the shootout in hockey. Because
me neither.
when shootouts and penalty kicks, the edge goes against the goalie. So the edge is for the person kicking or the person taking the shootout, in hockey.
Right.
And it the whole team shouldn't win or lose based on who's out thinking the other one. Because there's in soccer you can
Shouldn't
kick it
let it get
left,
to a
right,
shootout.
up and down. In hockey,
I
you
think
can
you should-
go
don't
up and
let it
down
get
or
there.
through the legs.
Right.
I think it don't let it get to that
Now,
point.
this
You're
is like
absolutely right.
UFC. If you don't want it in the judge's hands, you stop the fighter, you KO him or you tap him out.
Right. No, you're
I mean,
absolutely right.
I
don't
think-
don't let it get to penalty kicks.
I think they
But,
should take a player off. Every 10
Unfortunately,
minutes.
that's a great idea. Unfortunately, some of these games have been decided by penalty kicks. I'm not in favor of that. That's my
like the
perspective.
England and
But that was nice.
Colombia.
I was just going to say England and Colombia ended up going down to penalty kicks.
and
And
the
I didn't
underdog
see-
and the
exciting.
underdog won, and I
And
was
they
going for the
did.
underdog.
I didn't
Yeah.
see any Colombian flags driving around Broward County
You understand?
after that game.
my
like
neighbor-
I
honest,
did when they won
my
that other
neighbor-
game.
my
To be
neighbor is
honest, I really
Argentinian.
didn't care about the World Cup once I knew USA wasn't
Yeah.
in it.
No,
But then I just still, it was the only thing on, and you end up following it. And it's on my timeline, and all the superstars, Ronaldo, and all these people that got eliminated. It's on my newsfeed on Facebook. Person eliminated. I'm like, dang, all the stars are leaving.
I mean, you're going to catch yourself watching it, or at least watching the second half
Mm-hmm.
of some of these games. And these games, especially tomorrow, my pick is Belgium to win it all. They've been the most impressive team, I think, that I've seen that
Mhm.
didn't need penalty kicks to win their games
Mhm.
because they were averaging 2.5 goals per game. Their
Well-
first 2 or 3 games, they scored 3 goals.
Mhm.
And they don't give up very many goals.
Who's the other two?
France,
France and
England, and Croatia.
And Croatia's playing England, right?
Yeah, any team can win this World Cup. Let me just say that right now.
Mhm.
I
agree.
think Belgium is going to roll. I think they're
I
going to
got
beat
England.
France. I think they're going to beat
I-
France
I-
single-handedly, decidedly by 2-0, 3-1, something like that.
I think
They've committed
it's
the
gonna
fewest
be-
penalties in the contest.
I think it's going to come down to England and Belgium in the final, and I gotta go with Belgium. And only because their offense is a little bit better than England's offense.
Mhm.
And if in the event it does come down to penalty kicks, England has never
Just-
fared well
No,
in deciding penalty kicks, even though they beat Colombia.
I was
with
going to
them.
say they did.
No,
with
they
Colombia.
did. They did, and anything can happen thus far. But as far as what's going on in their
History-wise.
history,
But that's
in World
recent
Cups,
history.
but that's
Very
weird.
recent.
and
That's
that
what
doesn't
does
dictate.
Right,
and that doesn't
exactly.
that doesn't dictate what's going to happen down the road.
Exactly.
But like
But they
you
are
said,
a resilient team. They,
That's
they
true.
showed that they're
I
resilient.
give you
So
that.
even if they're down a goal going towards the end of the game, you still can't count them out.
and like
No,
you said,
I
don't
agree.
let it get to the penalty kicks.
Exactly.
And that's on their mind too. They just want to win single
Because
outright.
they've
And I
been-
agree.
They've lost,
And they're the total underdog right now. I think
28 years. they got
England
them
is
this far.
they got them placed fourth, I believe, third or fourth. Supposedly, I believe
we
that's
can
what it
take a
was.
look and find
Yeah,
out.
we
I
can
mean,
find
it's a 1 out of 4 chance.
Yeah, but I know they're not. They weren't picked to be
I think
into the final.
I think
finals,
Belgium's
think.
favored to take it all
Well,
based on what they've done.
hey, their star player's name is Dale, so you gotta go with the flow from Miami.
But yeah, so it's going to be exciting. I think I'm off
Yes.
on Wednesday, so I'm going to go to a British pub and watch this England and Croatia game. I will. Why not?
Nice. Oh, that's good.
You know, the other game, I think Belgium's going to roll. I don't know of any Belgian pubs around here, so I'll probably stay home. Maybe get a Belgian waffle.
My cousin, he's from Boston. He came down.
Oh yeah,
he came down. Yeah, Boston.
Right
He came
on.
down for a couple, about 2 weeks, stay with me and hang out with me. And he's been following France. So up until now,
Very
I
good.
have been. They're gonna lose, and they haven't lost.
no, they're the dogs. They were the dogs in every game.
And I've had to give him props to say, "Hey, you're right." So
Played
he's-
extremely well.
Yeah, so I really don't know. I don't know who's gonna win it. I picked Belgium, but that doesn't mean they're the ones.
No, I'm rolling with Belgium. I think it'll be Belgium and England in the final. That's I think that's what everybody's picked. But then again, people have picked these games before, and the ending
Yep.
has been completely different.
Yeah, because
So you can't count either
If
team.
we went
Croatia or
on what
France
people
out.
picked, we wouldn't have these four
Yeah.
teams right now.
We
And
wouldn't.
your choice again, J Dog Brooks?
England.
he says England.
Okay, he says
I-
England. I agree.
Sorry,
I
too.
want to say
We're usually not on the same team, but I
wanna say
agree.
England, but
No, based
think
on what
maybe
you've seen, they have a legitimate shot to win. They do. They playing extremely well. Kane's got 1,000 goals.
See, I'm
in the
not.
series.
I'm biased on any team, so I'm just where I'd put my money.
I don't
That's
have a
where
dog.
That's where I'd put my money.
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
I really don't. My half my heart is into this series because USA didn't even make it.
Yeah, that's
You know
what
what I
that's
mean?
what got me because I'm
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was talking about that the other day. I'm like, man, I gotta wait another 4 years for USA
Yeah,
to win
right?
the World Cup.
I don't even
But
think.
that's-
I don't. Iron.
and that's the reason why it's so these guys are like crying because
But it's in the
Four.
U.S. It's in the U.S.
Not
next
this-
year.
not the
Next
next one.
26.
The following
Okay.
26. It'll be here.
it'll be split between Mexico, U.S. and,
Yeah.
And
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
The
chances
majority of
are-
the games being played in
Yeah,
the
the
US.
chances are you're looking at they're trying to get the we talked to the mayor about this at the Steve station. They're trying to get a big round of games here in Miami. Hopefully the championship as well because the state put up and everything else
Yep.
is going to go. So there's a good possibility that you're looking at a block of games here, maybe a block of games in New York, maybe a block of games
LA.
in San Francisco. Yeah, LA, San
Yeah.
Francisco.
It's in
I'd
the
figure,
summer,
like,
so you can put it
Chicago or
anywhere.
something like that,
Chicago.
maybe.
You
That's
might,
what I
yeah,
was
you might have some
thinking.
Chicago. You're definitely going to have some in Texas Stadium. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
guarantee that. That's going to be full. That's 100,000 people there.
I think with
Exactly.
the summer weather around the country, you're going to have definitely a lot of venues that are going to hold these games, and they have 8 years to
And
figure
Jerry
it out.
Jones
Yeah.
is not gonna
He's not
let
gonna
it
turn that
miss
money
it.
out,
He's
no matter
not,
who's
he's
in
not
the
gonna let
stadium.
it pass it.
Now let's keep in mind.
Right,
let's keep in
exactly.
mind when FIFA cleans up at the end of this, they take all the money with them. Jerry Jones doesn't get squat because
He'll get
FIFA
paid.
take when they were in Brazil 4 years ago, all the beer was still all the things. The sponsors took everything. FIFA took the rest.
Well, Jerry might
The
get TV
restaurants,
money. He might
all
get
the
TV
places, they didn't make anything.
He might get TV money.
He's gonna get something. He's not gonna
something.
open up his stadium
Right.
and not get nothing.
Right.
But they're going to take
And pay
most
all
of
the
it because
electricity
they're going
and
to take most of it because they can't.
Right.
You're gonna pay my electric bill.
No, that's part of the contract that those bills get paid. But as far as the venues making money or individual places, not really.
the publicity.
It's all
Yeah.
goes to FIFA. They take everything with them.
But he'll get TV money. He's got to get TV
Mhm.
money, unless FIFA's got that worked in their
I
contract.
wish we could look at the contract.
That would be nice.
So anyway, that was a great subject.
Oh,
to
let
talk
me ask
about.
you fellas a question. And be
All right.
honest. Be honest. When you watch the game, do you watch it on Telemundo or do you watch it on ESPN?
I watch it with English.
It's not on ESPN.
It's on ESPN.
It was on
What's
Fox.
Fox.
Yeah, it was on Fox.
You watch it on Fox or you
But-
watch it on
Watch it on
television?
Fox.
To be honest, like during times when there's no sports on and it's not the World Cup or anything, I'll catch myself sometimes watching soccer when I just come across a channel where it's on and it's in Spanish, and I just either tune it out or I put it on mute and watch. But I can't, if it's like the World Cup, I'm not gonna watch it in Spanish. I'm gonna watch it in English.
Because they got that British, the British
different
sportscast is
game
really
in
good.
Spanish. It really truly
Oh,
is.
it's completely different.
And it's just much more. Even though I have to send,
The announcers are excited 24/7 the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole
And
time.
it's just it's a difference between and you watch him and then he's kicking the ball to the left side, he's going right. There's a difference. There truly is.
Yeah,
I read it. I
absolutely.
can't understand 10 of the words they're saying because they're saying it so fast and beyond my comprehension. But it is a more exciting event when it's in Spanish.
Well, you could mute
I
it.
was more upset with everybody because most of the people that I know on my Facebook were all Columbia fans. And they were shooting
my
for them.
neighbor's
And the minute the game was over, they were all calling for the game to get replayed, and it was all the refs' fault, and
Sound
everything
familiar?
was an issue. And we have a petition with 10,000 signatures saying that we want the match to be replayed. Like, what are you serious? That you lost. Like,
hey man, 4 years you gotta wait.
Yep.
And your stars.
hey,
are
at least you
old.
made it into the World Cup.
Yeah,
all right,
right. Your
US
stars
didn't even
old.
get there. All
Yeah,
right,
the
you
new
made it
one.
there.
I can't really say anything because what our country is not even represented. in it. So respect and congratulations to
Yes.
the 4 countries that are
Yep.
in it and all their fans and all the citizens that enjoy it. So good luck to all of them.
We'll do.
But
No
Belgium's
doubt.
Big
winning.
No
accomplishment.
doubt.
LeBron James off to the
There we
West
go.
Coast.
God.
Sign with
God.
it's sports.
I truly don't care.
We want to spend.
Absolutely.
We're not
LeBron.
going to spend a lot of time on.
last week.
And I don't mean it to say to be mad or vindictive. I literally don't care.
No, nobody does.
Nope.
Yet it's on the news. It's the top story.
It's
in
all about
sports.
LeBron James.
And
Always.
since the subject is sports, I'm just going to bring it up. We don't have to
Okay.
decipher it because it's already been hashed
been
over
done.
a million times. It's newsworthy, and that's it.
and LeBron going to LA is going to be a big thing for LA, but it's not even the biggest.
It's going to be a lot for the
it's
young
not
kids
even,
on the roster.
but it's not even the biggest moves in the NBA right now. The biggest moves have been made by the team that's the world champions.
Yeah.
Golden State made all the moves.
Kept
They just
all
loaded
the
their
good
whole
pieces.
right. They got all stars on their bench. It's like, come on now. It's like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you got LeBron, and I had a meme that was shared, and it showed all starters from Golden State, and they were all sitting there like they were sleeping on the plane, and they're like, this is our reaction to you getting LeBron.
Okay. Nobody cares.
It's just you just play them a couple more times a year.
LA cares. That's about it.
Oh, they have to though, because they got they are going to
They
be
need that
playoffs and everything now, and
As
guaranteed.
long as
until-
they're prepared for the circus that follows him.
but you're in the Western Conference now. It's not like the East.
it's
LeBron
different.
going on any
Yeah.
team on the East, he was going to be in the finals. Now it's going to be you're going to might make the playoffs, but who knows how far in the playoffs you're going to make it with this team. Now next year, once all that money they have money for all the new free agents next year, they could build something. But this team they have right now, they'll be lucky if they get out the first round of the playoffs.
Quick question: do you want? Oh, gotta forget his name. Damn it. Nick went to OKC. What's his name? Number 7.
Oh,
Carmelo.
Yes.
yeah, Carmelo.
Do you want
Anthony.
Carmelo? If you're in LA, do you want Carmelo?
No,
Do you want Carmelo?
I think he should retire. To be honest,
He's just a circus act at this point.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
all.
think he's-
Whatever
I don't
team's
think
going to
he's
throw
that good.
money at him.
I'm not
He's
saying
looking
he
for the
can't
money.
play.
That's all
I
he's
just don't
doing.
think he's that good.
he wants the
He
money.
could care less if he ever gets a championship. He just
Yeah,
wants
he's
money.
in it for the money.
He's going to get merch
There's nothing wrong
sales
with that.
and all those other things.
Honestly, there's nothing
But-
wrong
but
with
see,
that.
No, because it's a
But
business.
see, that's
and
how I
it.
feel. That's how I feel about Tony Parker. You just left San Antonio to go to what was it, Charlotte? Or was it Charlotte that he went
He's
to? He went
old,
somewhere,
bro.
but he went somewhere. It was somewhere like that. It was a low
Let's see if I
team.
can find it. But he's
It was
old,
a low
man.
team. And when I saw it, I was like, "Are you serious?" Tony Parker just left San Antonio to go there.
Well, what's he going to get in San Antonio?
The legacy.
That's
He's Tony Parker.
maybe he wants.
You
a
know what I mean?
championship.
Like
maybe he wants another championship.
you're not getting a championship going where he went.
You're
That's
not
what I'm
gonna get
saying.
with San Antonio either. Everybody wants to
A
leave.
better shot to
Hornets
going
playing with Charlotte.
Charlotte Hornets. Thank you,
You gotta
Charlotte.
look at you're gonna look what Charlotte drafted.
But
You
he's been
know,
playing.
and what position they're going to be in.
But is
He
he?
wants out of San Antonio, just
Yeah.
like Leonard.
Could have went to a better team. I'm saying
He
You
could
could have
have,
went to a
but
different.
Yeah,
team.
it's a
that was a
business.
better team.
Yeah.
They might
And
have
at
given
his point in his career, he had an option also to pick where he went.
the money
He
might have
didn't
been
just
right.
get sent somewhere. He
Then maybe
picked to go there.
then
The
if
money
you're gonna go,
probably
if you're
right for
gonna
him
go
at his point in
San,
his career.
if you're gonna go
He's
down,
not get that.
then
from
go to
San
New
Antonio.
York. At least you'll get a bigger.
See, that's the thing.
idea.
At that point, you're either going for money or are you going for
Maybe-
championships?
maybe he's
He
from that
obviously
area,
going to
too.
Charlotte isn't going for a
He's going for
championship,
championship.
so he's going for the money.
Maybe he's from that area. Maybe he's
No,
going
he's
home.
from another country.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's
Maybe he's got
Yeah,
family
he's from
there.
like Greece.
Maybe he likes North Carolina.
That reminds me of home. I don't see that.
Either way, it's a soap opera in the
Yep.
NBA, and it has been for a very long time.
You leave the team playing, and you go into
there's more
to the back room. You become a scout, you become a coach, you become something else. You don't taint, or I want to say taint. I don't want to say taint. Let me take it back. You don't change your history. Now playing in Charlotte for a year.
Oh, did you guys hear about this news? Dwight Howard reportedly wants to go back to LA now. Dwight Howard literally wants to, and I said, are you serious though? Because he just doesn't want to be the only star to go to LA and not end up winning a title. Because every other star that went to LA, Shaq, everybody that went to LA won a title.
Didn't he just sign with somebody? I thought I heard something about him. Did he sign?
I didn't hear of him signing. Yeah, that was the last thing I heard about him was that he actually wanted to go back.
He was
to
acquired
LA.
by the Nets in a draft day trade with the Hornets. Has finalized a buyout with Brooklyn.
He's another circus act too, Dwight Howard.
Yeah, but he's something.
But this is all. This is all just a hodgepodge of headlines made off the court instead of. Make more headlines off when the game is not being played, and that's why it's a soap opera. People are tuning in to that. People are tweeting about that. Well, it's not what they're doing on the court because it's already established what LeBron's done thus far. He's been in the finals 6-7 years in a row.
Nope. 8 years.
Carmelo,
8 years in a row, he was in the finals.
Carmelo's just a greedy.
That's why they said that. That's why they said that he could have, if he hit in the East, he'd be going for a ninth time, and that this year he might not make the finals because of the team that he has around him. So he's basically went there to stop his record.
Well, I think he also is probably going there because he lives there. I think he's at that main house there.
Okay, so for a subject we didn't want to talk about, we spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
MLB All-Star Game is shaping up to be awesome. It's going to be I believe it's next week or in 2 weeks from now. The 17th, so 8 days from now.
Tuesday,
yeah. And of course, the Home Run Derby is next Monday.
Yeah, which I'm not a fan of the Home Run Derby anymore, you guys. It's just a spectacle for the fans. It doesn't weigh anything on the game itself, and a player can get injured by swinging the bat with such intensity so many times just to get the trophy.
Right.
Something that doesn't matter. Aaron Judge said he wasn't doing it this year. He didn't want to. He did it last year. John Carlos Stanton last year. He said he doesn't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's really
they know how hard it is.
Maybe if you do it right, it's once. Do it once and that's it. Let other people do it if they want to. So I mean, give me your take on all these things. The game before the game, in other words.
I understand why they don't want to do it, and I kind of agree with them. I want to do it, but at the same time, you got to make some kind of effort for the fan itself.
It's fun to watch.
For the fans.
Not every fan is going to be able to see the game.
It's
as live as you can. Like when it came here, the only tickets you couldn't even get the Home Run Derby tickets; they were already gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're stuck with like the post celebrity softball game or something like that.
Yeah,
because
they were also supporting Stanton.
Yeah, and all the things were gone. So the Joe Schmoes, it's not about them anymore. It's about whoever has the open credit line on their credit card or can dial faster into Ticketmaster than anybody else.
Well, it's basically what it's about. How many? The stadium's going to be packed. It's going to have multi generations of fans from all over the place.
Oh my God, if you can't fill an All-Star Game stadium.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I do not like about the All-Star, I know why they do it, but I don't like about it is the winner in the World Series that home field advantage, and it's like the league mostly wins the damn All-Star games, so we rarely have a home field advantage when it comes to the World Series.
I thought that was taken away. I don't think they were playing for that right anymore.
Oh, if that's the case, but I know it was. Mm-hmm. I know it was.
Let me find out. I'll find out
I don't
for
think
you.
they play for that anymore because someone was saying like there's absolutely nothing on the line anymore.
Then I'll watch.
He's back in.
He is back in.
So we'll figure that out. We'll find out if that's on the line or not. I've heard recently that it's not, but of course we need to verify it.
Agreed.
Quickly, I have one topic from WWE to bring up.
Sure, I was going to say, bring it up. Go ahead. Are we talking rumors here, or
the headline is simple, and this is probably rumor. This is probably nothing true. Bobby Roode could be set for a huge character change, and I'm just going to give a quick. Bobby Roode has not had a great last few months in WWE TV ever since coming over to Monday Night Raw from the shakeup. And considering he's a former NXT champion and United States champion, many expected the move over to Raw to be successful for Rude, but it hasn't been. And he still has yet to hit his stride. At a recent live event at Madison Square Garden, Rude was defeated by Mojo Rawley, a match that even Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer thinks he could have a huge impact on Rude's future. By losing to Rawley, that means that creative has more confidence in Rawley than Bobby Roode. So their options are simple. Their options are simple. You either turn him, package him as something, a completely different gimmick.
Mojo Rawley, a huge push.
And he deserves it.
It doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, we think you're better than this person. They put people together all the time. Put two people. One's got to go under. One's got to go over. And right now, it's not that they're not pushing Rude, because I mean, to be honest, I like SmackDown more than I like Raw. And all the guys that when SmackDown's getting where they were looking like they were having the better ratings and everything, all of a sudden a superstar shakeup came in. They took all the good guys from SmackDown, brought them over to Raw so they could try to pick up the ratings on Raw. That's just how I looked at it, and it was back and forth. But Rawley, he's been there so long, busting his ass so much, like he deserves this spot that they're giving him. I didn't like the way they were doing it with No Way Jose though. That was just like, that didn't make him that much stronger. Now going over on someone like Rude would elevate you.
I'm reading somebody's article here. I'm not giving my take on it. I'm reading what was written just so we can talk about the conversation.
Yeah.
I like Bobby Roode. I think he's great. I think he should be pushed. I think he's underutilized. Mojo Rawley's absolutely underutilized. This doesn't mean by going with him that they're giving up on Roode, because he's still going to be there. He was an NXT champion.
Character change though.
He was an NXT champion for about a year.
When they do a character change, you get sent back down to developmental to NXT somewhere, and you have to redo a gimmick and learn a new gimmick and come out of sight. And then they rebrand you and bring you back out. They're not just going to change you right away. And he's somebody that's going to be on TV constant. They're not going to.
The best thing for him is to turn heel.
Yeah.
Keep the same character. Come out with the robe, because all the heels came out in robes.
Right.
Dino Bravo.
But see, that's an ego. That's
everybody.
But it could be looked at as a heel, egotistical. He's standing there in the spotlight, and with it. It can be a heel. That could definitely
be a better heel anyway.
Yeah.
He would absolutely make a better heel.
Beer Money, that was the best when they were with Impact Wrestling. When he was with Impact Wrestling as Beer Money, that was the best I've seen him.
But that was my WWE thing for the week. That seemed to be, we can do an update on Bray Wyatt. He was involved in a head-on collision.
Yeah, I want to know about that. I haven't heard any info.
From what I understand, my wrestling source on the Chris Metal radio show, he said that it was Bray Wyatt's fault. And that he got, he was very, difficult to work with, after the accident, with like all the people who showed up and the other driver and all sorts of things like that. So this could be really bad for his career. And he's currently co-host of the tag team titles on Raw.
Yep.
And Matt Hardy came out by himself this past last Monday night.
Well, he had to, because he was still injured.
Right.
Bray Wyatt was still injured.
I don't know what's going to happen with that. Yeah. If they find out that there's something behind it, like he was maybe, God forbid, under the influence or something else.
I feel if that was the case, it's been reported the way everything leaks. Look what happened with Jeff Hardy and with Matt Hardy.
Something like that, though.
You had Rich Swann, who got in the incident with his wife Sue Young up there. Second it happened, it was all over everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not this day.
That's a little more severe than a car accident, though.
Car accident is actually a little more. People are going to be more attentive to seeing what's going on. They heard the accident.
I think domestic violence garnishes more attention when people are suspended or fired.
Yeah, but the thing is you got to figure the accident. If you get in an accident, there's a loud sound, a loud collision brings everybody's eyes to that incident. What happens? You know what I mean? So you could get more eyes.
The person he hit survived.
But that's what I'm saying. If this happened and people saw what happened, if he was drunk, it would be reported. It would have leaked. It would have been. I believe if he was under the influence, it would have been reported already. I hate to see it come out now. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I just don't think it was.
I think it's a little too soon to do.
It was over the weekend. Yeah, it was over the weekend. Not this, but it was the weekend before.
No, it was this past weekend. I thought it was on
something like that.
It was Friday. It was last Friday. I heard
he just went into town. He just arrived in town for the Monday Night Raw that weekend. For that Monday Night Raw.
This Friday, but the one before.
Yeah,
this past. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the blood test would have already been out if it was something like that.
But then is he such? He is a big character with WWE, and the way they're pushing him now, that sometimes I feel that the higher ups. Something like that. It's up to them whether it's going to be up to them whether they're going to push it or
it's still going to leak.
Tight leak.
It'll still leak.
Right.
And we know enough about the accident to we can all make our own assumptions about what was going on. Now it could be painkillers, it could be alcohol, it could be anything.
Tired. It could just be.
It could be fatigue. It could be anything, and we don't know. and we'd be bad journalists.
And you also don't know if he could have had a head injury or something in the accident. That's why he was acting
Not
weird
wearing a
when people
seatbelt,
came
maybe he
up.
was
You know,
texting.
you
Could
don't
have been
know what
anything,
happened.
You know, could have been playing with the CD player or whatever, the radio. Could have been texting.
Maybe too much wrestling and chairs to the head caught
The whole as it is. This
but
is
they were
just.
starting to push him though. Even
Oh, he
when-
was-
Yeah,
he
but
was
you
getting
know
a
what?
big push
Right
with
before
Bray
they won the
Wyatt,
belts,
so.
they fought each other. At the
Well, that was the
Hardy
whole point.
To
That
get
was
them
this was the
to-
reason why is because they were given because Jeff Hardy got hurt.
No, I know.
And when Jeff Hardy got hurt, that's why they threw these two together as a team because they didn't want Matt Hardy to be by himself. They wanted him to be in the team, and it gave Matt Hardy a chance to go back to the broken Matt Hardy and go back to that gimmick. That's what they originally wanted. They wanted to end up going to that, which they should have done from the start because when they first brought them back, that was so hot in over the indie scene and over all wrestling fan base. It was so hot that they missed that fan, but also they couldn't because of Impact Wrestling and the talks and with the copyright and everything else that was going on. So they couldn't use it when it was hot. And now when they could, it just seems like a lot of it got squandered. And when they did the Hardy compound, that kind of brought this back in together because they needed something else for Bray Wyatt to come into. I kind of like that them two together in this kind of gimmick. It kind of like in Impact Wrestling though. I wasn't a fan of the compound matches in Impact Wrestling.
I don't like it.
I wasn't.
I'm not even a fan of the Hardy Boys coming back. I think they're washed up. In my opinion,
I like them. I like them.
Sorry, that's just how I feel.
I've always liked Jeff. So
No, I'm not saying that if you're gonna keep one, if you're gonna keep one, keep Jeff.
Yeah,
but Matt's useless to me. He's just useless washed-up talent.
Question we had earlier: the winner of the All-Star game does not select who.
No, it should be number of wins of the seeds.
It's the highest percentage.
That's what it should have always been, though. That's how
the
I look
All-Star
at
game
it.
should have never hinged. The World Series should never hinge on a game that doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It really it doesn't.
Because they do it in the NBA. You don't get home court advantage in the finals because the All-Star team won.
But you see,
whoever has the best record is how.
And that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense because that's fair to the team that worked the hardest. They should get home field. So it'll probably be American League. Anyway.
Well, moving on, we're going to discuss Platinum Pro Wrestling again this past weekend, which was Saturday, July 7th. We just had Fight for Independence, and we had that at the American Legion Post 142, which is located in Pompano Beach. So again, we have J-Dog Brooks here from Platinum Pro Wrestling to give us a recap. Let me get it.
Fans are gathering outside, dude.
There's a lot of them out there.
They know you're here.
They're hating on me.
Back you, Damon.
You got good security here at CSB. Angie's watching the door.
Yes, Angie's watching the door. So we had some title changes over the weekend.
We did.
The show was just action packed. It was action packed, loaded with tons of energy. Siobhan was there. I was there. We were all a part of a team getting this all together. So tell us more about the event. Give us a recap. Anything you want to discuss.
It was a very, very, very good event. Heard nothing but great things. All the fans enjoyed it. Everybody had a great time. We had 10 matches on Saturday night in Pompano Beach, Florida. First time in Pompano Beach. First time at the American Legion Post 142. We plan on going back there. Most likely to be in October, but we plan on going back to Pompano Beach. We had 10 matches, 5 championship matches, and we had new champions being crowned. We had some champions that retained their titles. The first match saw either a PPW newcomer take Chuck Davis, grade A Chuck Davis, and Scyther won that match in the very first match. And that was a really entertaining match because Chuck Davis came out as a former Army veteran, and he came out like he was a drill instructor and just going off on everybody in the crowd for not standing in attention. And it was the best way to start the show. It was a great match. And you had Dante Carter, which I think is one of the matches of the night. Dante Carter defeated Samuel C. Now, Samuel C. is the first hearing impaired wrestler to make it in wrestling. And he's striving his goal, of course, is NXT WWE, but he's the first hearing impaired wrestler throughout the indie scene to be doing this right now. And he really, really, it was a clinic. They had a total clinic. You can actually probably see up on Platinum's Facebook page within the next week, that match will be up there. So you'll be able to see that match there. You also had CJ O'Doyle, part of the establishment, and that's what Fabulous Frank, that's the manager, Fabulous Frank. Now, he was supposed to face Des Griffin. Well, Des Griffin didn't show up.
Didn't even show up to the building.
We think he was scared.
He did.
We think he was scared.
CJ O'Doyle was going to put the beat down.
We think he was scared to show up because it was all from the last show, and it was set up from the last show, and he came out and he came out and attacked CJ O'Doyle and said he wanted because they tried to offer him to come into the establishment. He said no. and they were supposed to get the revenge match on this show with the winner going to the main event, and he didn't show. So CJ O'Doyle came out, ripped him a new one on the mic, and won with a 10 count, won by forfeit.
Yes.
And he got to move to the main event. Then you had old school Bruce Worley, Gas House Bruce Worley. He defeated Big Kahuna Khan.
Great match.
And Big Kahuna Khan with his coach Kiki Roberts. It was a really good match. It was a platinum weight match, so it was two big guys going at it. Even though Big Kahuna Khan, his goal is to be a cruiserweight.
Yes.
But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Then you had your first title match of the night was the Platinum Pro Wrestling Diamonds Division Championship match. Rocky Radley, the champion, defeated Sophia Castillo and retained her championship. The next match was the Doubles Division Championships, and those were vacant at the time. And you had Cash and Flash, Derek Dominic, and Maximilian. They defeated John the Jet and Santeria Cortez and became the new Doubles Division champions. And to top it off, they had help from CJ O'Doyle and Fabulous Frank. And we found out that Cash and Flash are now a part of the establishment.
They are. Dun, 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 dun.
The next match is your Silverweight Championship match. The 5-star superstar Max Stardom defeated Treehouse Lee and retained his Silverweight Championship. Then the match you guys were all mentioning earlier on in this show right here, you had the Starlight Championship match, where the challenger, Jenna Van Muscles, defeated the champion, Dynamite Dee Dee, and walked away the new Starlight champion.
She did. A big congratulations to her.
Now, for the semi-main event of the night, you had a grudge match, and it was a bull rope match. Two old school friends, former partners of over years, settling it out once and for all in a bull rope match. Chris Charger and Larry Lane, which saw Chris Charger victorious. After the match, Larry Lane got on the microphone and he demanded one more match and said if Chris Charger accepts, if he loses next month at SmackDown, Larry Lane must retire. And to top it off, he even said Chris Charger picked the stipulation of the match, any stipulation, any kind of match. He's confident that he's going to get his revenge on Chris Charger.
Right. And again, this was a bull rope match, though, that we just had.
And there was blood, and
there was blood. We had to get help to help Larry Lane. And Larry Lane's one of my favorites. Siobhan, what do you think if Larry Lane has to retire? You're there for all the magic as well.
I don't really have an opinion. Sorry.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We're Team Larry. Our side of the room was Team Larry. Remember?
All right. Now, the main event of the night. Two men started. Every 3 minutes, another man entered, and it was pinfall or submission for elimination. Now, that were CJ O'Doyle. They were the first that started. Then you also had O'Shea Edwards, Barrington Hughes, Vandal Ortegun, and then you had Sean Maluda. Those were all the competitors, and the person that walked out with the Platinum Weight Championship was none other than CJ O'Doyle. CJ O'Doyle started number 1 and lasted the full match through 5 other competitors and walked out the Platinum Weight Champion. So now the establishment are holding CJ O'Doyle with the Platinum Weight Championship and Cash and Flash with the Double Division Championships. They're full of gold over there in the establishment. That right there was the recap and the results of Fight for Independence from July 7th in Pompano Beach, Florida. The next event is August 18th, Summer Meltdown. And you will have, like we mentioned, Chris Charger, Larry Lane, retirement match. And then you will also have the Platinum Weight Champion, CJ O'Doyle, makes his first title defense, taking on Omar Ali in his first title defense. We'll see what happens. There'll be more announcements made. Facebook.com/Platinum Pro Wrestling. We have our event page up where we're constantly putting up new information for the event. We'll have tickets on sale. Advanced tickets will be at the CrossFit Squad, and you can purchase them online through ticketbud.com. All you have to do is search Platinum Pro Wrestling. One more thing, Platinum Pro Wrestling t-shirts. Go get your t-shirts, support PPW. Go on prowrestlingtees.com/Platinum Pro Wrestling. There's 3 designs to choose from, different color shirts, anything to match your style. So make sure you go to Platinum Pro Wrestling on prowrestlingtees.com.
Awesome. Just a quick question before we go to break. Who do you think Fabulous Frank has his eyes set on next?
To be
Just
honest,
a guess.
I mean, I've known Frank a long time. I've literally known Frank over 15, 20 years.
Right. Who
I
will
mean,
he go
I've
after
known him
next for
longer
his
than that, but
stable?
I'm talking about the 20 years of me wrestling.
Yeah.
I've known him. And with that mind, I'm thinking that he might go after a woman.
Maybe.
Because I mean, he has tag team.
He always has
a
his targets
heavyweight.
out.
Like, I'm thinking he's gonna go after a woman. I don't know who. I have no clue. He has his eyes out. He's out there scouting.
Definitely building a stable.
And
He's building a stable.
And he's scouting. He's scouting for his establishment.
Yeah,
so
he
I
is.
know.
Yes, for his
I know he
establishment,
has
yes.
something. Maybe next week we can maybe get a quick interview with Fabulous Frank and see if we can get some information out of him.
See if we can get something out of him for who he's going next for his establishment.
There you go.
Okay.
Who's that?
That's my voice. That's me. And that's
That was us. That was Drew.
We
He
were
did it.
doubling.
And then he stayed quiet. So with that being said, thank you, J-Dog Bricks from Platinum Pro Wrestling. We're going to go ahead and take a break right here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you for staying tuned to Now Trending Live right here on Trending Radio.
Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day podcast.
It's there.
From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happening this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day, by day.
Topping the box office this weekend, number 3.
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after.
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom with 28.5 million. Number 2.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
Incredibles 2 with 29 million. And number 1.
Who would have believed that in your hour of need, you would turn to us?
Not me.
Because we robbed you. Do you remember? That's us.
Ant-Man and the Wasp with 76 million. Opening this week.
The Pearl is the tallest, most advanced building in the world. You've built a vertical city, but you've brought with it every single safety and security challenge that I could think of.
Skyscraper. A father goes to great lengths to save his family from a burning skyscraper. Starring Dwayne Johnson and Nev Campbell.
Patience, Mr. Hill, is like air in a sealed room. No matter how much you start with, eventually you'll run out.
Siberia. When an American diamond trader's Russian partner goes missing, he journeys to Siberia in search of him, but instead begins a love affair. Starring Keanu Reeves and Molly Ringwald. Topping the box office.
And we're back here to Now Trending Live on NowTrendingRadio.com. Did I hear Keanu Reeves and Molly Ringwald?
No, Nev Campbell. Oh, wait, what?
I heard Molly Ringwald. Right? I heard Molly Ringwald, right?
Yes, Molly Ringwald and Keanu Reeves in the movie Siberia, which I have not heard of until I was doing this movie thing today.
Yes.
So
And
we'll
Chris,
see if it's a hit.
Yeah, and Chris, you man over the weekend?
I did not.
Not Chris, Drew. I'm looking at Drew. That was the greatest part, though. I'm looking at Drew and calling him Chris and asking him about Ant-Man.
Cool, man.
Yes, I saw it this weekend.
How was it?
Really funny. It was really good. Very good. It's
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. It's a movie that it's not going to be your Avengers Infinity War movie in a sense, but it's a good in between movie.
Right.
It was very funny. There was a lot of action in it, mostly from her, but I enjoyed it. I truly did.
Chris, are you going to see it? Yeah, from her.
From her?
No.
From Burl.
No, from who? Who are you talking
From
about?
the Wasp.
And
No, Joy, I'm not going to see it.
And also the villain as well.
I'm not going to see it
Ghost.
simply for the fact that it is overkill, it is oversaturation of all these same superhero movies.
But what if it's something, a story that you enjoy? What if it's something that you enjoy?
No, that's different, but that's not the case.
How do you know if you're going to enjoy it or not if you don't watch
But
it?
everything that's out there right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, are sequels, prequels, or spin-offs. There are no original thought going into any of this. And my wrestling expert analyst also does a movie review similar to Siobhan's, yet not as cool. And we talked about that, and he mentioned that everything that's out there right now are all sequels, prequels, and spinoffs.
But if you notice, all of the comic book movies that are coming out, they're doing it for a reason. It's all going, you like one after the other to end up like what they did with the Infinity War, but you had to watch like the other 5 before that. I haven't followed because it's like, I didn't see the first one way back, so I don't know what's going on now.
I'm not following it because I could care less. It's way too much. It's complete oversaturation. I can't stress that word enough. But as consumers, most people just going to take whatever they give.
Wakanda forever. Made a
Wakanda
lot of money.
forever.
Made a lot of money.
Well, because other projects of theirs failed, like the Star Wars marketing. They're not selling the amount of toys and merchandise from the franchise that they used to because the last few movies have sucked.
That's because Toys R Us isn't here no more.
Well,
and that's not,
and you
that's,
can blame,
that's
you know, and all
Okay,
things like
different
that,
than
and
that.
Walmart and Target having like better sales on toys and things like that. It's sad, but it's something that we all grew up with.
I don't know. I'm a kid of the 80s, and to see these movies I'm in heaven because all these movies were in comic books, and we used to think back then, oh man, wouldn't it be great if they made this movie?
Well, because of all the
because Hollywood didn't want to make these
CGI and all the
movies,
digital effects
they
and
were too
stuff.
busy doing love stories that nobody wanted to do these movies. And now that they're doing these movies,
that's because CGI wasn't as big as it is now as it was back then.
Special effects
Like,
overall
and they
weren't as
couldn't do
good
it,
as they are now 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I should say 30 because 20 years ago,
Well-
Independence Day was in theaters, and that was awesome.
well, remember Batman
before
came
that-
out in '89, and that one wasn't full of necessary special effects, but it's just to see these movies it's incredible because now that's all here. It's all
Okay,
here.
but can we all admit, or at least some of it, can we bring up the discussion that there's too many of them all at the same time? Justice
can't.
League, Civil War,
But I
this
can't.
one, that one, this spin-off,
I'm
that spin-off.
loving it because now
I know. but
instead of no
I
movies,
know you're loving it, Drew, and I'm
I
not trying to
have
take that away
some
from you, but I'm saying, think of what the how it's been shoveled to the consumers.
But it's the hot
And
ticket. It's the hot ticket.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying, can you admit that the market has been oversaturated with
Oh,
all
no.
these movies?
I can't say
He
that.
can't
I know
say that
you
because
like
he
it.
loves these. He
I know,
loves
but I
those
can't say
movies.
it's
Yeah.
oversaturated.
It's
I
his thing
can't
he
get
likes.
enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally
Get
can't
the
get
long boot now.
Well, we're gonna move to odd news.
I literally cannot get enough.
We are
What?
definitely moving over to odd news.
Yes, odd news.
How does that sound?
Fine. Sounds odd.
Sounds fun if I get it together. So when officers detected the smell of alcohol coming from the car, Mr. Garrett claimed he wasn't driving the car. Guess who he said he was driving?
Mrs. Daisy?
I don't have
His dog.
I have a dog sound set up over here.
Yes. However, the accident didn't fool anyone as his red, very glassy and bloodshot eyes and the bottle of alcohol in the passenger seat pretty much gave him away. Oh, there wasn't even a dog in the car. Garrett asked officers. No, Garrett then asked officers for a ride home. Instead, they gave him a ride to jail where he was charged with drunk driving.
Your new home.
Big surprise. And this happened in Florida, right?
Where else? Where else would
Let
it
me
have
get his
happened?
picture on the screen. His picture's now on the screen. We did, if you're watching Facebook Live, we are back. So we may be on another link you have to click on. We've got pooted out and then we're back again. However, his picture is on the
She said
screen.
pooted.
Siobhan, you are right. It did happen in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, goodness.
Too bad.
Not too far from here.
Too
That's
bad it
not
didn't
real
get on
Florida.
live PD.
At least it wasn't
Not
Pasco
yet.
County like everything else.
Everything else is Pasco County. Yeah, when it's in Florida now. Does anyone here watch live PD besides J Dog Brooks and I?
No.
Get out of here.
I watch it every Friday and Saturday.
Oh, my Lord. I'm not surprised.
Go ahead, Siobhan.
Well, I'm going to stick to the topic of stupid people in Florida.
Oh, you got a whole bunch.
Yeah, so in Putnam County, Douglas Peter Kelly found out that the police there don't meth around.
I see what you did there.
It wasn't me. I'll give credit to the Huffington Post.
The Huffington Post?
Yes. So he purchased some crystal meth last week from his dealer that he thought wasn't exactly up to speed. So fearing a
Up to
rip,
speed?
exactly. Again, thank
my
you,
God.
Huffington Post. Fearing a rip off, the 49-year-old contacted the sheriff's office, saying he wanted them to test the drugs because he had a bad reaction. Investigators said Kelly wanted to press charges against the person who sold him the illegal drug a week earlier. So the drug unit detectives invited him to come on in and have the contraband tested. He drove to the sheriff's office and allegedly gave detectives a crystal-like substance wrapped in aluminum foil that tested positive for methamphetamine.
Ugh.
That positive test had negative results for Kelly, who was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine and taken next door to the Putnam County Jail. He was released last Wednesday on a $2,500 bond. And I meant to send you this picture, Joy, so we could get it up on here earlier of his mugshot.
Aw.
He's a special guy.
He is. I know. We should just call this stupid criminals because I have another stupid criminal. Well, criminal, but it has to do with the law.
Is it in Florida?
No, it's actually not in Florida. This one's actually
guy
coming
from
out of
Florida.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're
But
driven through
I
Florida.
was going to ask you something else about that story, but now I forgot. But what happened? Imagine if the meth would have tested to be bad, fake. He wouldn't have got arrested, right? He didn't have anything really.
Yeah,
at
they
that
couldn't
point.
really have it. Get him on anything just for being stupid.
Could you? Would you think so?
They got charges for
Did
you
he-
having substances that look like, because
Right.
if you're out there and you get stopped trying to sell baby powder as code.
We saw it on last year ago. These kids had pancake mix.
Oh,
And it looked like
no.
cocaine, and the cops tested it for cocaine.
Oh, great.
And they had it stored. So even the cops said, we know you're trying to like fool people trying to sell this crap as pass it off. Or
The intent.
Just so you know, you can't get arrested.
yeah, he did. He said, you know what, just
I think they'd have to do on that in like a really extreme situation.
because you're attempting to sell false drugs or something, you could even
But the attempt is to fool people into thinking.
So,
it's
but
fine.
this guy wasn't attempting to sell it. He just was stupid
It's
enough.
like-
to
he
have
was
them
just
test
stupid
it.
enough. What a
it's like,
dum dum.
It's like saying you want to hire a hitman and go start looking for one.
Yeah. The person has cleared their conscience by paying a 44-year-old parking ticket. The Minersville, Pennsylvania Police Department received a letter last week with $5 and a note inside. The return address was Feeling Guilty, Wayward Road, Anytown, California. Police Chief Michael Combs tells WNEP-TV, the note said, Dear PD, I've been carrying this ticket around for 40 plus years, always intending to pay. Forgive me if I don't give you my info. With respect, Dave. So The ticket was only for $3. He figured over time that it accrued interest, so he sent in $5 and told them
would have been much higher
than $2. But he did tell them to keep the change.
Sounds like Dave.
Anyone know Dave?
They tested it for like fingerprints and DNA to identify this guy.
Right?
Yes, they should, because it's Dave.
But his conscience was killing him over 44 years for a $3 ticket.
That and the
back
body
then.
under his basement as well.
That will surface next.
Yeah, that's the next thing he's gonna report.
Yeah, more stuff's going to come out from Dave in the coming days and weeks. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. The killer in all of us. Hello, Dave.
Really, Drew? Is there?
I mean, no.
I don't know where that came from.
Sorry, I'm talking too much.
I guess I need to get in touch with my inner killer. Siobhan, what do you have?
So the British Parliament is known for its shouts and interruptions, and now Siri is getting in on the action.
Bully.
Last Tuesday, Apple's digital assistant interrupted a speech in the House of Commons by Defense Secretary Gavin Williamson. He was speaking about Islamic State terrorists in Syria when Siri chimed in, saying, I found something on the web for Syria.
Are you serious?
Williamson looked surprised and said, what a very rum business that is. I'm not going to attempt to do my British accent. And he said, it's very rare that you're heckled by your own mobile phone. Because in England, they say mobile, not mobile. He also apologized. However, not everyone thought it was so funny. Some people have raised security concerns about a defense secretary carrying a device that can eavesdrop. But sources close to Williamson have said he does not carry the phone into confidential and sensitive meetings. So Siri cannot listen in on those confidential meetings. Though I'm not really sure how Siri was triggered, because according to my experience,
Syria, right?
But you have to push a little button to turn Siri on. She doesn't just start talking like Alexa does.
She does.
I was going to say, doesn't now
Not on my
doesn't,
device.
isn't there a function?
If it's supposed to be, if it's being charged up, and you say Siri, it's supposed to turn on.
Mine's charging right now.
You should know, because she's.
Yeah, it's supposed to be charging while you're charging it. If you say Siri, it's supposed to.
I would think like now they only because of all the new assistants now, even Google, like that's based off their commercial. Just say, what is it? Hey Google, yo Google,
right?
Yeah,
and that's supposed
I do
to.
that
Yeah,
with my phone.
You yell, hey Google,
or you can make it say answer to anything basically.
Hey Siri.
That's just how you know they're listening to every word you're saying.
Yeah,
it's serious. Yeah, I was gonna say it's serious, but then was Siri? See, it's serious. Thank you, Siri.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Siri.
Now everyone's yelling at
It
their
doesn't
phones.
work on iPads.
No.
Change the setting.
Not yet, or download the update. But yeah, it will.
But that's starting to happen. Do you ever worry about any of your messages or anything? Do you have?
Say something stupid?
Yeah, just
Being recorded?
texting. Just yeah. Because you're one that likes to use Siri a lot.
Right,
You used to before constantly use Siri.
I don't touch it right now. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Have you ever had though a moment where you just said, "Damn it, I'm not using this anymore"? Like it messed you up some way or another.
Hey, she knows everything about you that you said, so don't piss her off.
I know, right? No, I'm worried about it.
Siri, I'm
okay. Right?
Siri's the best. She's the number one in my life.
So again, before we get going, again, just a reminder, the Susan G. Komen Foundation of Miami and Fort Lauderdale, the More Than Pink Walk is coming up. We still have a few months away. However, it takes a while for us to get ready for it. But it is going to be Saturday, October 13th. There will be a 5K and a 1 mile walk or run. You have the choice. Again, this will be at Bayfront Park in Miami. Join the Team Tent Challenge. Fundraise $300 or register a team of 30 plus people by July 31st, and you will receive a 1 free 10x10 team tent. So again, it's just a huge tent for your team. Y'all have a good time.
What are you doing this tent?
There's going to be barbecues. You just hang out, have a
people
good time.
bring all kinds of food and have
Yeah,
fun.
it's like your own party tent.
Yeah,
it's really a great event. J Dog Brooks, before we go, Platinum Pro Wrestling again. We are returning when?
Woo, August 18th. Saturday, August 18th, West Palm Beach, Florida. Find all the information on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Platinum Pro Wrestling, one word.
What?
That's the truth, folks. Well, with that being said,
You know it.
That's right. We're going to close out today's show. Everybody, look at your cameras. So wait,
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Because I like this 3-shot. Now
Stop the show.
wait to your cameras, Chris.
Wait till she's ready.
Chris, you're this camera. Drew, you're this camera. I'm that camera. Have a great week, everybody. Make sure you join us next week. We're going to have our special Coleman moment. We may have updates from Platinum Pro Wrestling. As we said, we're going to try to get Fabulous Frank on the line just to see, you know, what he's going at. Who is he going after next?
I'll work on it.
Okay, make sure you work on it. Everybody have a great week. Anybody have anything to add before we close out?
Hurry up, the chopper's leaving.
I love you, Jenna. Okay, that's all I got.
Oh, he did.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you for
everybody.
listening to Now Trending Live right here on
Peace out.
NowTrendingRadio.com. Have a great week, everybody.